Basically, the question is, I am a woman in my 20s dating a wonderful man for 2 years now. I want to be the best I can be for him and be mindful of how men perceive things. What are the common mistakes women make in their relationships from a male perspective? Story 1. The most common mistake I have seen is women dating men with the intention of changing them into someone else. Date people you like instead of people you think you can turn into people you like. Story 2. In general, women tend to communicate more by hints, subtext, tone of voice, and body language than men do. This can lead to a lot of misunderstanding. If you want him to know something, the best approach is to tell him with words. Story 3. This might be more my own perspective, but it could apply to others. Reward the behavior you want to see generously. Use compliments, thank you notes, hugs, and verbal appreciation tied to the specific act. I say this because some relationships I had started to lose momentum. I think a lot of it was because she expected me to initiate frequently, both in the bedroom and outside. This is fine, but there must be a lot of positive feedback when things are going well, or that behavior will fade. Story 4. Not allowing him to have his own interests, hobbies, and alone time. We do not hate you because we do not want to spend every waking hour with you. We need space as well. Story 5. Making assumptions instead of talking to him. For example, he is not ignoring you. He probably just did not hear you. Story 6. Taking relationship advice from friends who are single, divorced, or unable to stay in long-term relationships. Story 7. Don't compare your relationship to ones you see online. They aren't you, and most of the time it is put on anyway. I had a relationship go downhill because she started comparing us to relationships she saw on social media and began complaining that I wasn't buying her flowers every day like a random couple she saw. Bouquets aren't expensive, and I'm not made of money. Story 8. One common mistake is losing yourself in the relationship. People tend to focus so much on their partner's needs that they forget their own. This often comes from love, but over time, it can lead to burnout or feeling like you are performing instead of being present. You wanting to grow is beautiful. If anything, do not shape yourself around how men see things. Shape yourself around what is true for you and build a rhythm with your partner from there. Do not strive to be perfect. Just be real and present. Story 9. I would say definitely not respecting alone time. It has long been established that while women often reach out to friends to discuss stress and issues, men tend to go away to do an activity and think things over at the same time. I like to spend time in the garage tinkering with random things for my alone time. My ex would interject and try to get me to fix things, saying things like, well, if you are in the garage tinkering with stuff anyway, you might as well fix this broken chair. That did not work either. Story 10. It's not a pattern in every relationship, but frequent, what are you thinking? Questions from a couple of ex-partners can be tiring. It's like, we've just been intimate. And then it's, what are you thinking? Often, it's nothing but contentedness or just plain nothing, or at least nothing that would make coherent sense to speak. When it's asked too often, it starts to feel like you can't even have the privacy of your own mind. That often leads to overanalyzing things, including the relationship. This can stem from insecurities, but it becomes overwhelming when both sides are happy and things are good. Yet we have to pull apart and examine the positive aspects. This can spoil the good thing, like explaining a joke. Story 11. Listening to what he says and then proceeding with her own interpretation regardless. I told my wife the other day, I am going to use the Visa card to buy the couch. She proceeded to assume the Visa card was closed, assumed for some reason it was her Visa card, and then yelled at me for opening a new card in her name. I asked if she was okay. It is the same card we always had. No one is opening anything, and if I were, I would tell her. The card has a zero balance on it. I was just going to put the couch on it to get points. Why do you hear what I tell you in plain English and then create some story that has nothing to do with reality? Story 12. Be mindful of those girlfriends who are not in fulfilling long-term relationships themselves. As the saying goes, show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. It is natural for us to seek feedback from others about our decisions. It is how we stay sane. However, if the women you surround yourself with are single, divorced, or have trouble maintaining relationships, They likely do not share all the same values as you. They may still be good friends. Just take with a grain of salt whatever they have to say about boundaries, relationships, and the single life. People often call this misery loves company on the internet, but I do not think that is accurate. It is similar to not paying much attention to how a homeless person reacts to the stock market when you are looking to invest. When it comes to opinions about your relationship, focus your attention on people who share the same goals and values as you. Story 13. The most common mistake that I know of is being attracted to or choosing the guy that is bad for you. Most women who have had relationships before keep going after the same type of guy. I don't know what is going through their minds that makes them believe it will turn out any differently. Not being honest with her partner or herself. Lying and manipulation. Arguing and not communicating. Most women I know have zero communication skills. If you are the only one allowed to talk, the relationship is doomed. Story 14. Believing that their role is to be an accessory to the man. Only he has to plan dates, only he has to compliment the other, and only he provides emotional support. Story 15. That you are even trying speaks volumes. Many relationships devolve into complacency. Most of us want two partners both making the effort to understand and meet each other's needs on equal terms. It's the little things. A cup of tea after a hard day, a random hug, coming home to dinner in the oven. I work from home, and while my partner is the far superior cook, food you didn't have to cook always tastes better. These small gestures matter much more than the big ones, though those are nice occasionally. You don't need to second-guess yourself. Just support and love each other. Sounds like you do. Story 16. Communication is important. Not being completely honest with your feelings when you express them can cause misunderstandings. We are not mind readers. If we ask you how you are doing and you say fine, we will assume everything is okay. Story 17. The biggest mistake women make in relationships is never admitting when they are wrong. This is a common theme in stand-up comedy routines and accepted by the vast majority of married men around the world. What's wrong? I don't like this thing you did. Well, I only did it because you made me, or you did it first, followed by blame shifting. Or, when you know you're wrong and he has proven his point beyond a shadow of a doubt, you just bring up some unrelated issue as a distraction which has nothing to do with the topic at hand. If a woman says, I was wrong. Sorry. She is far ahead of the rest. I honestly think I have heard a woman say that phrase in an argument about 3 times in all my years. Story 18. Accepting attention from other men should never be allowed. Do not avoid communicating directly with your partner. If you want or need something, say it clearly and concisely. No hints or clues. Do not share your partner's secrets. Never repeat anything he says that is private. If you are unsure whether he considers it private, ask him. Never share personal information about him with your friends. Do not complain about him to your friends. Complain to him, then work together to resolve the issue. Story 19. Thinking you live in a Disney movie or a romantic comedy. Listening to your friends on what to do in your relationship. Bringing other people's drama into your relationship. Hint. We do not care why your best friend broke up with her 4th boyfriend this year. Engaging in any of the social media test your boyfriend challenges. Not using your words. We cannot read your mind. If something is bothering you, say it clearly. No longer being affectionate. Being disrespectful. Dismissing his concerns. If you want your relationship to end, make a habit of ignoring what he says. Story 20. Realizing who and what he is, not who or what you think or want him to be. He is not perfect. There are parts of him that probably are not good. But here is the honest truth. Neither are you. That is not meant to be an insult. None of us are perfect. The trick is finding someone whose perfections and imperfections blend with their perfections and imperfections. Story 21. A common mistake people make is becoming comfortable and complacent, stopping being grateful for who they have in their lives. In the first few months, you are excited to have a good partner who helps with various things, but over time, the things you were thankful for become expected, then demanded. Instead of appreciating that they did the dishes, you become upset when they do not. People get used to and bored with a stable, generally healthy relationship, forgetting what it was like to be single or with a toxic partner. They take what they have for granted and often place the responsibility for fun or romance on their partner, even though they have stopped putting effort into being playful, fun, or attractive. Story 22. Comment is going to get lost. But if you ever vent or complain about him to someone you know, be sure to also mention positives or things you really like about him later. That is why many people just give the advice to break up, because they have only heard the negatives. If a friend you ask for advice from has only heard negative things, the advice will be more negative in response. Story 23. Taking advice from social media like TikTok is not always reliable. If you see a dating coach who cannot get a man but gives you advice, ignore it and move on. Take advice from someone with over 10 years of experience. Story 24. Smothering your partner or playing games, such as trying to make your boyfriend jealous or gaslighting, is a good way to push a mature man away. If a man expresses that he needs some alone time, it does not mean you should try to make him feel guilty for it. Some people are introverted and need their alone time to recharge. The same applies to spending time with friends. Do not get mad if he wants to have a social life too. Time with friends is healthy. Story 25. Jumping into a new relationship shortly after a messy breakup, thinking it will fix everything. It will not. And we get tired of hearing every sentence start with "my ex." Story 26. Not picking their battles. Making arguments over small things. Insisting on being correct all the time. Story 27. Screening the men they would go on a date with too intensely and not ending relationships quickly enough with men who are bad for them. Story 28. You are owed nothing. He does things for you because he loves you. If you are horrible to him for long enough, he will stop loving you. Then he gives you nothing and does nothing for you, and he is not the bad person for that. Thank him when he does something for you. Never say, "That's the bare minimum." Story 29. From my last relationship, sabotaging the relationship by letting her insecurities take control. Playing games instead of directly communicating. Expecting to change something about me even though I was like that from the start, and staying with me for 3.5 years. Story 30. Not speaking directly, honestly, and fully without any hints or anything like that. Not trying to save the relationship. If she does not like something, she starts looking for a replacement. When she finds him, she leaves the old partner for the new one. Story 31. They are not specific to women but good for everyone. Mocking is a small thing, but it really is tough for men to come back from that. Especially calling them out in front of people. Criticize in public. Celebrate them in public. Communication. And fighting the right way means fighting for each other, not fighting with each other. Work as a team to resolve your shared problem, not as adversaries dealing with his problem or her problem. It does not matter where the problems come from. They are for both of you to shoulder. Own them together like you own your joy, happiness, and love together. Story 32. Act as if he should feel grateful and privileged to be in their presence, without taking accountability for their mistakes or when they are wrong. In addition, not clearly stating what they want or need, but instead hinting at it. Story 33. Belittling, weaponizing, and insulting his vulnerabilities. Also sharing this with other people without his consent, not including a therapist, of course. Story 34. Men are generally inept at picking up hints. If you like something or want something, say so. Even bright signs are not enough to make us realize you want something unless you use clear words. Do not become too greedy. Make sure to share both giving and receiving. Compliment his work and show interest in his hobbies, but ensure he shows interest in yours as well. This does not mean you have to like them or participate all the time, but occasional participation goes a long way. Ask him directly what he felt was missing in previous relationships and what he wishes a former partner had done more of emotionally and mentally. Story 35. Do not try to change the person you are dating. Date only if you are truly interested and find him compatible with you. Also, listen to him, what he says and how he is feeling. Lastly, understand that he needs time for his own activities. If he wants to watch a sports event at home or with friends, do not make plans for that day and time. Story 36. Relationship tests are common, and I have experienced many of these in the past. They vary in nature and can be quite unreasonable. If you try to play games to test your partner, even if you think it is funny, it is a good way to become single quickly. No-win arguments are another issue. A partner will ask a question where there is no correct answer. Examples include, "Do you think my friend is pretty?" Or, "Would you love me if I was a worm?" These types of questions always lead to arguments regardless of the answer. They cause frustration and eventually build resentment. Story 37. Whenever he complains, don't make it about yourself. Listen to him. Don't overthink all possible worst-case scenarios and create a mess in your mind before talking to him about it. Story 38. Love him, but don't lose yourself while loving him. Never become too emotionally invested, so when things go wrong, it does not become difficult for you to cope and stay sane. Always remember that no matter how good the man is, you should be your first priority. Love him, cherish him, love yourself more, stay independent and sensible. Never hesitate to ask questions. Never hesitate to have uncomfortable talks about everything. Keep putting in effort and do not let him stop. Story 39. Thinking men mean more than they say. More often than not, men will say what they need and mean unless it is a topic about their emotions. Story 40. Convincing themselves that their boyfriend is a great person just because he is not actively trying to harm them. Story 41. Keep in mind that these are things you asked for. I have no idea whether you engage in any of this behavior. Men are literal. There are no hints or signs to read, and we also do not like it when women play guessing games. Keep that in mind when both talking to him and interpreting his behavior. He is not trying to tell you something. He is either keeping his mouth shut or actively doing something. Do not go to him with a problem unless you expect his input to help you solve it. We are raised to believe that our feelings do not matter, so we will be pragmatic and try to figure out the quickest way to solve an issue. If you try to make him jealous, a breakup is a possibility. Those games are abusive and we do not tend to play them. If you were truly a better catch than he is, then you would not be with him when you know there are better options out there. We remember every compliment and every rejection. Keep that in mind before you say something you cannot take back. I did not mean it is a complete lie every time. If you try to hurt him emotionally, he has no reason to trust you. You are not going to change us. We are not your project. If someone's behavior bothers you, then you should not be with them. Everybody has different wants and needs regarding sex. Just because you are compatible now does not mean your libido or desires will not change. Be open and honest so that you both get what you want. This includes letting him know whether he is actually satisfying you. Do not leave him guessing, or he might think he is doing a great job when he is not. Likewise, people go through phases in life and they change. As a couple, it is your combined responsibility to ensure that you love and are loved by the person who is with you now. You can do that by being open and direct when communicating your feelings. Silence is a killer of relationships. Women tend to think of their homes as theirs to decorate, and their men are simply afterthoughts in the matter. If you expect someone else to help clean your place, then do not fill it with clutter that is just going to collect dust. Nobody in history has ever been unable to find a pantry because there was no sign hanging above it. That is not cute. It is tacky. Likewise, if he is not into Christmas lights, then he should not be the one putting them up. If he is into certain sports and you know he is into them, do not purposefully schedule things when you know his favorite team is playing. He is not choosing the sport over you. He is choosing whatever activity you have decided to punish him with over what he likes to do. On the flip side, do not allow him to change you. If he was attracted to you when you had tattoos, piercings, and dyed hair, then that is who you are. If you no longer want to be that person and want to dress more traditionally, that is your decision. His only decision is whether or not he can maintain his attraction to you in your new default state. Story 42. 1. The biggest mistake I hear from my female friends after a breakup is, "I thought I could change him." No, you cannot. Accept him as he is or move on. 2. The biggest mistake I see on social media is, "He should think like me." Men do not know what it is like to be a woman. We do not know what it is like to have cramps, be on a period, have a vagina, or female instincts. Most men are not even going to try to guess what being female is like. Yet, I see post after post from women who are miserable in their relationships, thinking they understand what it is like to be a man, and that he should know what they are thinking. Meanwhile, women who are happy in their relationships acknowledge they have no idea what it is like to walk around with male anatomy, testosterone running through their body, and a male brain that does not work like a female brain. Acceptance that we will never fully understand what it is like to be the other gender is key to love that lasts. Story 43. 1. Hypocrisy. The inability to recognize it or accept accountability for it. Inability to show gratitude for small things. When a man loves you, he will truly do anything in his power for you, even something small like warming your car in the winter before you both leave for work. Show thanks. Verbally is enough. We want the best for you and want your time with us to be meaningful, memorable, and warm. A good man brings golden retriever energy to the max. Inability to recognize your disrespect. Yes, couples bicker and disagree. However, absolute disrespect is unacceptable, especially in front of friends or family. This will slowly diminish the connection toward disdain and eventual breakup. Remember, the entire point of a relationship is to make life livable. We only have one shot on this earth. Inability to be consistent and considerate. We need to save the roller coasters for theme parks. We cannot be making sharp turns from day to day. What we have agreed to needs to be steady, and changes need to be gradual. Things can be adjusted over time. What was agreed to yesterday should not be nullified 12 hours later. If you constantly ask me to get you things when I'm on the way home, but you don't do the same for me, it starts to feel one-sided. I don't care about socks, but when my girlfriend got me some Marvel-themed socks, I was happy. She knew who I liked and thought of me. Inability to effectively communicate. If I ask what is wrong and you say nothing, it's not that I'm stupid and don't notice. I do notice you are upset. I am just not able to understand why. In the world of men, saying nothing is code for if I try to talk about it now, I will just blow up because I am too upset. Give me time to cool off and we will talk. It is immature and unhelpful to code it as, I am fuming and you should already know why. The fact that you don't means you don't care about me or know me. So I am not telling you until it boils over in the middle of dinner. Story 44. For me, assuming that a traditionally female-dominated task, such as raising children, cleaning the house, or cooking, can only be done by her is incorrect. Condescending comments like, "Oh, I'd appreciate help with my house," are harmful statements. Sure, he may not parent the same way, but that is actually a good thing. It is our house, our children, our food. Story 45. Overthinking and not talking. If you have an issue, you have to talk it through even if it is uncomfortable. If he does not listen, then he needs to learn fast or leave. If he listens but does not stick to his word, leave. You need to say it clearly because most men cannot take a clue. Story 46. Dating and marrying people who are toxic and bad for them, thinking they can change them or that they will change back into the person they acted like when they first met is harmful. I wish I could recommend the book, Why Does He Do That? By Lundy Bancroft. It explains mirroring and love bombing, tactics abusers use to lure people into relationships. Story 47. Do not let physical intimacy fade. Make it a priority to connect emotionally for yourself and physically for him. Story 48. Don't try to change him. If there are parts you do not like about him or are not compatible, and you want to change that or hope he would change for you, you need to understand that this is just who he is and make decisions based on who he is now. Story 49. Thinking people are emotionally stilted because we do not experience emotions the way others do is incorrect. In fact, it is important to accept that we are simply different mentally than they are and be okay with it. Story 50. If it comes down to a conflict between you and his mother, then everyone will be miserable. There is no winner. You are marrying the man and his family, and if you cannot find a way to create a win-win accommodation, it is not going to work. Story 51. Controlling behavior, nagging, creating unnecessary tension and drama, not listening to understand, making him feel bad for having his personal space and time to do what he likes. not taking the initiative to make him happy, not asking for what he wants or needs, expecting him to read your mind, asking for advice online for your relationship problems, and more. Story 52. A common mistake I see is women keeping secrets and expecting a mind reader. Say what you feel or what you are thinking. Say it out loud to him. A second mistake I see often is isolating him or both of them. Encourage him to do things with his friends regularly. If your partner has gone more than a week without seeing anyone but you socially, it is a concern. Not a major one, but give him a nudge. If the relationship lasts, he needs to have long-lasting healthy friendships, just as you need to have those yourself. Story 53. Asking a man to open up, not liking what he says, and then throwing it back in his face in the next argument. Story 54. Trying to make the guy the point of contact for everything. Lover, therapist, best friend, protector, handyman, entertainer, food delivery person, and more. Story 55. Do not smother each other in the relationship. You both need friends, interests, and time apart, even if those interests do not align with your partner's. Story 56. This is general advice for all genders. Long-term relationships are about compromise. There will always be things you do not like about someone. The longer you are with them, the more you will find. You have to ask yourself if you can compromise on these issues and if the person is worth it, keeping in mind that the other person will have the same challenges and still chooses to stay with you. Set boundaries and tell them what you love about them and the things they do. Communication is everything. Story 57. I've only had one relationship, but I would say don't make it one-sided where the man does all the work and contributions while the woman does not reciprocate. If your partner is doing a good job and being good to you, give him at least a little something in return. Don't just be a taker. Show him that you like and appreciate him. I'm not saying go back to the past where all women did was raise kids and please their husbands, but give him some love. Story 58. Pursue your own interests beyond your partner, being your own person while in a relationship, and not letting another person completely define who you are. Story 59. Expecting someone to just know what is wrong or what you need can create confusion. Most men really appreciate clear and honest communication. Story 60. Living just for him and not for yourself is a terrible idea. Have your own things. Do not become just an extension of him. Story 61. Be direct in your communication. Be enthusiastic about his hobbies. Continue to improve yourself, both individually and together. Learn what type of space you both need and communicate it when necessary. Never stop dating each other. Story 62. Based on my own experiences that have caused me pain in current and past relationships, not having your partner's back. If someone is speaking badly about your partner, defend them even if they are not present. They are your partner after all. Listening to friends for relationship advice who are either single or have a romantic interest in you. Lack of communication. Not making an effort to check in or ensure your partner's needs are being met. It is not a challenge or a personal attack. It is important to stay on top of it, expecting a disproportionate amount of affection. Men like to be touched and called pet names too. Often, we have fewer people to talk to about our problems. Sometimes you just need to hold your partner and tell him it will be okay. Disrespecting the boundaries of your relationship, such as ogling other people in front of your friends or entertaining men who show interest just because you like the attention. This is disrespectful and will erode his love and trust in you. Story 63. Women do not understand the confidence we cherish. We love service but do not seek attention. We expect that a man will like what we do. We are different. Try to get him, not just understand him. Trust is everything for us. If he can trust you, he will continue. Story 64. Listening solely to their often mostly single or unattached group of women for relationship advice instead of anyone else. Almost never initiating sex. Sharing personal detailed sexual information about him with your female friends. Taking the worst possible interpretation of what he said and then holding a grudge on it. Withholding affection and sex for long periods over perceived minor slights. If you are a picky eater, develop at least a vague idea of what type of food you might want to eat before starting that conversation about where to go out. If you can offer a few choices to him instead of him suggesting place after place with you immediately rejecting every single one, all the better. Hints and vagueness often become very annoying. Directly say what you mean. If you judge the time is not right, you also have the option of bringing it up later. Story 65. Using conflict and fights to achieve a desired outcome. Over time, this will push him away and cause him to start disliking you. Controlling behavior and not allowing him to do the things he enjoys, even if they do not involve you occasionally. Being constantly negative about everything and everyone around you. Not expressing femininity clearly. Creating drama with his family or friends, especially his family. A significant issue. Flirting or showing interest in other men. Uploading provocative pictures, texting men, going on many nights out without him, and similar behavior. Superficial issues. Wearing too much makeup. Having bad or excessively long acrylic nails. Being overly focused on social media posting and taking selfies. Story 66. Number 1 would be asking Reddit for relationship advice. Talk to him and listen to what he says, not what you hear between the lines. Story 67. Women mistakenly believe they are good at communication because they talk a lot. They share their feelings with everyone, but in my 49 years, I have yet to meet a woman who is good at doing what they want their partner to do. They just want validation. They do not want to validate. Eventually, as a man, you learn not to tell women anything so it never becomes an issue. Story 68. The biggest issue I have had with women is a lack of accountability. You can manage this in the short term, but in the long term, it is a major problem that will prevent growth and build resentment. Story 69. A common mistake people make in relationships is assuming their partner will change in ways that make sense, without the partner committing to actively work on changing. Story 70. Don't try to change him. Date the guy you want, don't date a different guy and try to make him into the guy you want. Keep in mind how much emotional support your boyfriend gives you. Women often talk about the emotional load of this or that, but typically women require and demand much more constant empathy, sympathy, apologies, hugs, cuddles, and so on than they give back. All of that is an emotional load. Pay some of it back. The relationship should be more or less equal. Not exactly, but it should not be one-sided. There should be give and take. Along those lines, consider that while money isn't everything, it is not nothing either, and it does not grow on trees. If your man is paying more for basics than you are, carrying most of the cost for going out, traveling, entertainment, or picking up the slack when you have an unexpected expense, all of that means something. One thing it might mean is that it is not wrong if, in return, you do more of the housework. Story 71. Being in relationships with men who take no accountability for their actions, who have no desire to love and respect their partners, or dealing with men who consider themselves as dominant males is common. The list goes on. Essentially, it involves choosing unsuitable partners and allowing oneself to be mistreated. Story 72. If he tells you he loves your body, believe him. Nothing will make the average man stop complimenting your appearance faster than you rejecting his compliments. He doesn't see the issues you see with your body. Story 73. Secret ultimatums that only exist in their head and are never said aloud will bring up issues and then get upset if you say the exact same thing to them. Story 74. I want. You are a team. Work together, not against. Surely you are your own person, but if you treat him with respect, he will too. If you love him, he will too. Story 75. Being passive and expecting their boyfriend to do everything and pay for everything without contributing in return, also known as demanding princess treatment. Story 76. Controlling jealousy. I have been with a couple of women who could not stand that I had female friends. One did not want me to ever see them again, talk to them, or talk about them. If we were ever in their presence, she would deliberately get their names wrong. I had no romantic or sexual interest in them, but she did not believe me. It was one of the things that ended our relationship. Story 77. I'd say one of the biggest mistakes is taking him for granted, expecting consistent effort, support, and emotional presence from a man without putting in the same level of effort in return. It's not that women don't contribute, most do in some way, but the scales are often tipped. He's expected to plan the dates, lead emotionally, stay calm under pressure, provides security and excitement, while her side of the effort often goes unexamined because she's assumed to be the prize. Relationships should be mutual. Effort shouldn't be lopsided. Appreciation, attention, and emotional investment should go both ways. Men want to feel chosen too, not just relied on. If he stops trying, maybe he burned out from carrying the momentum. Compliments, physical touch, and emotional support matter more to men than many women realize. Just my take. Story 78. Not communicating clearly can cause problems. The silent treatment or saying, "it is fine," will not resolve issues. Discuss in a calm and clear manner. Story 79. Maybe one will forget who they were before the relationship. It is okay to change. It is okay to like what your partner likes. Just do not forget who you are as a whole. Do not breathe, hear, and live just for your partner. Story 80. Constantly trying to second-guess your partner is unhelpful. When in doubt, just ask him. Men tend to be very direct when they talk. Also, do not expect him to guess what you want. We dislike mind games. This approach will greatly improve your communication. Story 81. I have no problem with girls' night, but when it's the club and you are getting hit on and taking free drinks because you are cheap or for an ego boost, that is cheating. Just hang out with your friends and do not engage with any men. Story 82. The most common thing I see is girls cheating and flirting while in a relationship. That is their biggest mistake. This also applies to guys. Story 83. From my experience, women often make the mistake of assuming that men want the same level of emotional intimacy as they do. Story 84. Do not try to change men. You fell in love with the guy you are with, not the one you are trying to change him into. Do not cheat emotionally, mentally, or physically. Talk to him, not your male best friend, about your problems or everything personal. Do not expect him to know what you are thinking. Do not gaslight him. Be there for him as much as he is there for you. Do not buy into modern feminist propaganda. Having a girls' night out is not bad, but having it with single friends or characterless or morally bankrupt ones who are looking to get laid is harmful. They will sabotage your happy life. Listen to him as much as he listens to you, especially if you want him to open up. Then be prepared for what comes out of that opening and accept him. Do not lose respect just because he becomes vulnerable with you. There might be a few I missed, but these should do for a start. Story 85. Lack of accountability is a significant issue. Many women, unfortunately, do not like to take responsibility when they have made mistakes or when things have gone wrong. Often, women also avoid taking accountability for their own role in perpetuating unhealthy relationships. You have agency and responsibility for your actions and inaction. It is important to remember this when dealing with others in long-term relationships, both for your sake and for theirs. Story 86. Not loving themselves first, then choosing a partner who loves them similarly. I see many women trying to find love against the grain, leading to friction, stress, and numerous other challenges. Story 87. When we say this, there is a 99.9999% chance we mean exactly this. We want exactly this. We have thought things through, and this is what we want. Do not overcomplicate things. You do not need to probe us for a better, more complete, or more complex answer. This means this, and this is good. Our lack of reaction or excitement is not a lack of feelings. It is a lack of reaction or excitement. We have been conditioned not to show our emotions, but hidden as they are still here. Story 88. Thinking we always want to do something on the weekend. Sometimes we just want to relax and not go anywhere. Story 89. Men are usually hungry, horny, or bored. Feed us, drain our energy, and let us see our friends, and we are happy. We're not that complicated. Story 90. Sex as a weapon. Failing to openly acknowledge his affection fades with every lie. Aiming to conform the couple to what is expected of them. Infighting between the couple for power, instead of taking power from those you do not love and sharing it with those you do. Neither is ideal, but if you want or crave more power, do not be foolish enough to try to take it from those you love. Having more than two people in the relationship by allowing outsiders to determine what happens within the couple. Story 91. A common misconception is a woman thinking that everything is the responsibility of a man, while in reality, a relationship should be built by both partners equally. Story 92. When they find a nice man, they are too afraid of safety concerns and labels and mistake genuine love for pressure. As a result, they discard it and convince themselves it was too much. Story 93. I don't know if this is a common mistake, but it is one I have experienced. A girl thinks I will fit perfectly into her life, but I do not want to be fit into someone's life. Story 94. In my opinion and experience, women often engage in false advertising. They do this for years and then claim they never did those things or were never that type of person. They are expert gaslighters. Story 95. Never compare him with men from your past, and avoid comments like, "You have a perfect size," which imply that your boyfriend is smaller. Never lie, no matter what. Always tell the truth with empathy. Traveling without your boyfriend can be a mistake. Cut off all contact on social media or elsewhere with any men you have previously dated. Listen without interrupting. Try to understand his body language instead of only his words. Men, like dogs, do not talk much but communicate through behavior. Every man dreams of having unconditional intimacy with his partner whenever he wants. Be a peaceful presence and make his day easier. Intimate gestures when he wakes up and when he returns home will mean a lot to him. If you use your feminine energy, he will fiercely support you and strive to see you happy. Story 96. Cheating, listening to your unfaithful single girlfriend, talking about how impressive your ex was, being a poor cook, and sloppiness. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.